Oh yeah, there's no chaos. It
Yeah.
actually was all uphill. Everyone's like super excited.
Scott
Everything was
Perry can
going the
shut
right
all
way.
that up with just the right moves.
Yeah, yeah. So let's look at these two players that we're hearing nonstop though. If you had your choice between Darius Garland and Trae Young, like where would you go? Like Darius Garland, like first of all, we'll just kind of get to some of the specifics of the two. Um, Darius Garland is 26. Oh no. He's 20 why boy, I wrote this down. He's 25. He won't be 26 until January. He's like a full year and a half younger than Trae Young. Trae Young's 27 in September. Um, I think Garland is a more efficient player. Trae Young is a better passer and a much bigger draw at the box office. Trae Young is a 4-time All-Star. Garland is a 2-time All-Star. And I think let's start there, Jesse. How crazy is it that the guys that the Kings are being mentioned chasing right now, both 26, 25, 26, 27-year-old All-Stars?
It's a little bit of a relief because honestly, the last few weeks we've been talking about all these players, whether it be LaMelo Ball, Trae Young. I've been kind of in the back of my mind. This is all pie in the sky, and like unless this is actually happening, this team's going to be in a bad spot this year. But to see like no, they're actually on these guys is like all right. It's encouraging because I didn't see a path forward, and we've talked about it unless you brought in someone better than Domas or Zach LaVine, and for you to bring at least rumored to be interested in Trae Young and Darius Garland and all those guys, like I can buy into that.
Yeah, I think I can too. Like, they're very different types of players,
Yeah.
right? And so, like Garland this season, shot 47.2% from the field, 40% from three on attempts per game. Excuse me. 20.6 points, 6.7 assists. He's not a good rebounder at all. 1.2 steals. I think he's a better defender. The other thing he does is he turns the ball over way less. Like Trae Young turns the ball over like well over 4 times per game. But Trae Young is also more of a natural point guard. He has a ball in his hands more. He's a guy who has a much higher usage rate than Garland. Garland's usage rate capped out at 27.2 this year, which is like slightly off of his career best, which was 27.8. Where Trae Young, I'm going to guarantee, is well into the 30s. So when you're going out and looking at these two players, I have a tough time believing that Garland isn't a better fit for the Kings. You know, when you factor in like he's not as much he's a point guard, but not a true point guard, more in the vein of the way De'Aaron Fox was a point guard, except for he's a better shooter than De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, Trae Young's usage was 29.6 this year.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like Darius Garland. I don't know if I like him just and it's kind of unfair to him just I don't know if I like him more than Trae Young as far as like the guy on my team, like who we're gonna just like who's gonna lead this forward.
Okay.
I feel like Garland's had to kind of play Robin to Donovan Mitchell and all that. So he, if in the right spot, he could kind of elevate and all that. But I feel like with Trae Young, I've seen it already. Like I've seen him get to the conference finals, and I do believe in Trae Young as a player. Like he's not better than Garland defensively by any means or anything like that. He's horrible defensively, call it what it is. But I just feel like I don't know for what I'm looking for in a team right now. I'd go Trae. I just feel like Trae's got that, just that next level.
I think what you're trying to say is that Trae is a 1A.
Yeah, Trae's a 1A.
You know he is,
yes,
and you're not sure if Garland can be.
Mm-hmm.
You think Garland might be able to be.
Garland's a great player and all that.
Yeah,
but I don't know if he'll get there.
I'm intrigued. Because, again, we're talking about a young player, but also a young player that had his ascension sort of curtailed by the acquisition of Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
Right. So he's on his way up, and then all of a sudden you decided to take like a very big detour and go the Donovan Mitchell route and sort of take the ball out of Trae Young, out of Darius Garland's hands. I wonder if there isn't more that Garland has to offer.
And that's the thing, like he could, but it's just I don't know. I'm always big on what I see right in front of me.
Okay, so if we look at what we see right in front of us, again, Trae Young led the NBA in assists last year, 11.6 assists. He turned the ball over 4.7 times per game. I mean, that is wild. I mean, it's basically a little bit better than a 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. That's a ton of turnovers. Are you and again, just some of his shooting splits, he shot 41.1% from the field and 34% from 3. He's a career 35.2% shooter from 3, and as high as a 38.2. I actually think Trae Young's shooting numbers would go way up playing with Domas.
Yeah, I'd stick with Trae. I don't want. I'd stick with Trae because I know Trae's gonna like this is his team and all that. I know when fourth quarter gets here, like he's gonna take over and all that stuff. It feels like with Garland, and maybe I'm just off with Garland and all that stuff. Like he's better than Domas and Levine, but it's just more so it feels like we're still playing through like it's still Domas's team. Like if you bring in Trae, it's just more so now I'm looking how to build this team around him and stuff like that.
Okay, so I get what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're right in a certain way where if you brought Garland in, I'm not sure he's better than Domas,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not sure he's better than Levine. But I now know that you got 3 players that are all on the same tier.
Yeah, they're all great players and all that, but I'm looking for something better than that this offseason.
Okay, and Trae, you can look at him and say, okay, he is a guy who kind of stands out as
Yes.
as the dude.
Yep.
I'm not sure, like the numbers don't always back up that Trae Young is like a great scorer. Like he's a volume scorer. Where I think the one major advantage to Garland is he's figuring out how to be efficient. But I also, I don't know, like playing off the ball more is probably going to be difficult for Trae Young.
Yeah.
Using a player like Domas to get yourself open, as opposed to having to create for yourself the whole time is different. I
Like if they're bringing Darius Garland, I'm like, oh, why did you bring in him? I want to Trae. Like, no, Darius Garland's still a great player, but if it's a matter of between Trae and Garland, who I prefer, yeah, I'd prefer Trae on this team.
okay. I'm going to say I prefer Garland. And I'm worried about the injury history, but that would be where I would head.
Mm.
And it's just because I think that he can fit better. But I also know you're giving up something when you do that.
Because if you bring in Trae too, I'm thinking like I got Trae here for the next 5 years. Levine's probably only here for a year, so it's also kind of just reworking in the future how you're going to build around Trae now.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna step aside when we come back. We've got our number 2